Today, we're diving into some pretty incredible wisdom from a poem written way back in the 13th century. But you'll see it has a message that is surprisingly relevant for how we deal with, well, our own minds, right here and now. Think about that for a second. What if you actually laughed when sadness showed up? It's a pretty wild idea, right? To welcome something we spend most of our lives trying to avoid. And that question, that's really the core of what we're digging into today. Now, the source for this whole explainer is titled PoAItry. And yep, just so we're all on the same page, you pronounce that just like the word poetry. It's a really cool, modern lens on this ancient piece of work. Okay, so the entire poem is built around this one simple but really powerful metaphor, the guest house. It's an invitation to think about what goes on inside your head in a totally different way. Rumi kicks it off with this. And notice what he says. He doesn't say being human is like a guest house. He says it is a guest house. That little word makes all the difference. It immediately frames our thoughts and feelings not as us, but as visitors, just passing through. So who was this guy who came up with such an amazing idea almost 800 years ago? Well, to really get the poem, you kind of have to get the man behind it, Jalāluddin Rūmī. Rumi's life was, well, it was a lot. He was born in this hub of knowledge, but then his family had to flee the Mongol invasion, making him a refugee. And then, after settling down, his whole world was turned upside down by this intense, life-changing friendship with a mystic named Shams-i-Tabrīz. All that disruption, all that deep connection, that's the soil where this incredible wisdom grew. And this brings us to what a guest house would have actually meant to him. He would have known a caravanserai, which was basically a roadside inn where travelers could rest. And he saw our minds as exactly that. Our emotions, they're just travelers. They show up, hang out for a bit, and then they leave. The big idea here? They aren't you. So this all sounds great, but how do we actually apply it? Well, we're going to break down the poem's core message through 5 different perspectives, or as our source calls them, lenses, that give us new ways to see our own feelings. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the unexpected visitor, then the crowd of sorrows, the violent sweep, the new delight, and we'll finish with the laughing welcome. Each one builds on the last, so let's jump in. All right, lens 1. This is all about recognizing just how unpredictable our feelings are. I mean, you don't choose your emotions any more than an innkeeper gets to choose who shows up at their door, right? And look at the variety here. Joy, depression, meanness. Rumi isn't judging them as good or bad. He's just stating a fact. They show up totally unannounced. The first part of this practice is just to see them arrive, without immediately trying to push them away. Okay, but what happens when it's not just one unwelcome guest, but a whole mob of them? That's what Lens 2 is about. And honestly, this is where things get really challenging. This is pretty radical advice, isn't it? When you feel totally swamped by sadness or anxiety, every instinct screams, run, or fight. Rumi says to do the exact opposite. Treat them honorably. Don't slam the door in their face. Invite them in for tea. That's a huge mental shift. But why? Why in the world would we welcome a crowd of sorrows? Well, Lens 3 gives us a hint. It suggests that maybe these difficult emotions have a hidden purpose. Wow, what an image. Sometimes those overwhelming feelings really are destructive, like they're just wrecking the place, flipping over all the furniture. Rumi's asking us to consider that maybe, just maybe, this violent sweep isn't a disaster. Maybe it's a cleanup. Which leads us straight into lens 4. If the sorrows are clearing the house, what are they clearing it out for? And this is where things take a really hopeful turn. And there it is, the big idea. The emptiness isn't the end goal. The pain and the sorrow might just be creating space for something new to come in, a new kind of joy, a deeper understanding, a new delight. It completely reframes suffering not as a destination, but as a preparation. And all of this leads to the 5th and final lens, which is the most transformative and probably the hardest part of the whole practice, the active, joyful welcoming of every single thing that shows up. I mean, this is the peak right here. You're not just tolerating the dark thoughts, the shame, the malice. You're meeting them at the door, laughing. It's a posture of complete, fearless acceptance. It's like saying, oh, hey, it's you. I was wondering when you'd stop by. Come on in. Let's see what you've got to teach me. Okay, so with all 5 of those lenses in mind, let's take this idea and make it really personal. Let's bring it right into your life, right this second.
No, seriously, just take a moment. What guests are in your guest house right now? Is it anxiety, joy, maybe some impatience or frustration? Just notice who's there without any judgment.
So, the big takeaway from Rumi's poem is that this whole thing isn't just about passively watching your thoughts. It's an active invitation to learn from every single part of your experience.
And this is the final amazing point. Every feeling is a messenger. It's a guide sent from somewhere beyond our day-to-day control, and it's carrying a piece of information just for you. The challenge and the invitation is just to be willing to listen.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If those difficult guests, the sorrows, the shame, are busy clearing out all the old furniture, what might they be making space for? What new delight could be waiting just outside your door, ready for you to finally invite it in?